Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. How does the new foreign minister view the two key relationships he has to manage with Pakistan and the United States of America? That's the key issue I shall explore today in this exclusive interview with S M Krishna. Foreign Minister, let's start with Pakistan. It's 10 days since Hafiz Muhammad Saeed was released, and even now the government of Pakistan hasn't made up its mind whether they want to appeal against the release or not. What do you make of that?
Well, we haven't heard anything from Pakistan about the appeal that they are supposed to make to a higher court of law, and the fact of the very release of a known terrorist who was instrumental, who was masterminding the terrorist attack on India on 26/11 certainly has created doubts in us about the sincerity of Pakistan in dismantling the terror instrumentalities that have come up on the soil of Pakistan.
And now the delay in appealing, is that underlining the doubts?
It is. It is.
As you view what happened, do you think Hafiz Muhammad Saeed was released because Pakistan today has a strong and assertive judiciary, or because the authorities deliberately presented a weak case?
Well, we know how cases are fought in a court of law, and Pakistan could not be an exception. We know that Pakistan could have made more serious attempts in fighting the case, and I believe that not enough was done in pursuing that case.
And do you have reason to believe that elements of the military or the ISI undermined a strong case? Did they do it on purpose?
Well, Pakistan, the whole approach of Pakistan has become debatable in as far as terror and attacking terror is concerned.
So in a sense, handling Hafiz Saeed was a credibility test for Pakistan, and in your eyes, they haven't necessarily passed that test.
I think that was one of the important landmarks, you know. And he was a terrorist who was wanted on the 26/11 attack. And the way he was released and the way Pakistan government took that release, you know, and have not followed it up by preferring an appeal, shows that they are not serious about pursuing the perpetrators of that attack on India.
So Pakistan has actually failed an important credibility test.
I think over a period of time, it is our experience that Pakistan says something for outward consumption, but it doesn't really mean what it conveys to the rest of the world.
Now, the release of Hafiz Saeed is one setback that's happened. The other is that the United Kingdom has held back consent for declaring Masood Azhar and Azam Chima terrorists under UN Declaration 1267. Do you feel let down by Gordon Brown and David Miliband?
Well, we have the best of relationship with United Kingdom, and they say that they are one with us in fighting terror, because terror is a universal phenomenon today.
But suddenly on this critical issue, they held back consent.
I think United Kingdom ought to have been more circumspect in dealing with this particular aspect.
So you're disappointed with the United Kingdom?
Well, I expected something better from United Kingdom.
Have you communicated this to the United Kingdom?
Well, we have our own ways of communicating whatever we feel like through our diplomatic
channels. Side by side, India is also being nudged by the Obama administration to resume the political dialogue with Pakistan. The President said it in his AFPAC speech. He said it again in April when he met the Prime Minister in London. How intense is the pressure to resume the dialogue?
Well, I do not know from where one gets this idea that India is a country which can be pressurized to take up a particular posture, you know. We are a sovereign country. and we take decisions what is best in our own national interest. We have got to safeguard our territory, we have got to safeguard our polity. So we will be guided by by the developments in our own country rather than being pressurized by A power or B power.
Now, William Burns, the American Undersecretary of State, met you on Wednesday, and it's well known that he's also brought a letter from President Obama for Prime Minister Manmohan Singh. You've received a letter from Hillary Clinton directly as well. Is this part of a concerted attempt by America to persuade or push India into resuming the political dialogue with Pakistan?
Well, we have taken up our relationship with the United States of America to a higher level than what it was. Especially after the civil nuclear treaty, we have moved closer to the United States of America in view of the fact that there are a number of other concerns where we are acting closely with the United States. So they might have friendly advice, suggestions, as we can give them friendly advice and suggestions. That doesn't mean to say that they are going to pressurize us, or are we going to pressurize them?
So you do accept that you are receiving friendly advice, friendly suggestions to start talks with Pakistan?
We have friendly exchange of views about not only the bilateral relationship between United States and India, but about the world situation, the neighborhood.
Of course, analysts say that it's not just friendly advice, as you call it, or pressure, as analysts call it, that you're receiving from the Obama administration. They also say that despite numerous denials from the Obama administration, it's becoming increasingly clear that, in fact, part of Richard Holbrooke's agenda, although hidden and secret, is India. Does that worry you?
Well, what the United States does with other countries is their own concern. But where India is concerned, we are free to take decisions depending upon the circumstances prevailing in our own country, keeping the national interest of India at our.
Let me put it like this. Given that suspending the political dialogue with Pakistan hasn't pushed Pakistan to either bring the accused in the Mumbai terror strike to justice or even to dismantle the wider infrastructure of terror, how long do you think it is useful for India to keep the political dialogue suspended?
Well, we have said, the Prime Minister on the floor of the House of Parliament did make a mention about this. He said that if Pakistan shows the sincerity that is necessary to convey to us that they are willing to go the whole hog in trying to destroy the instrumentalities of terrorism which is directed against India, perhaps India would be too willing to resume the dialogue with Pakistan.
Let me put something to you. Listening to the Prime Minister's reply to the President's address, the Hindu commented that what earlier looked and sounded like rigid preconditions had now transformed into reasonable expectations. Is that a correct characterization of the Indian position today?
Well, we are hoping that Pakistan would see the path of reason and then would live up to what we expect them to do. Then perhaps it becomes smoother. For any dialogue to be meaningful, there should be a very conducive atmosphere, and that's what we are trying to create.
You're trying to create a conducive atmosphere.
Atmosphere for a dialogue with Pakistan, which should take note of this.
Now, in his reply to the President's address, the Prime Minister said that if the leadership in Pakistan has the courage, determination and statesmanship to act against terror, I assure them we will meet them more than halfway. What in your eyes would be proof of courage, determination and statesmanship?
Well, whatever we have been saying after that attack on India on 26/11, whatever that has happened, so many innocent lives are lost, property damaged, and as a result of that, the relationship between India and Pakistan
Has suffered.
has suffered, has taken a nosedive. You know.
So you're saying show some reasonable movement, give us and help us resume the dialogue by being reasonable with your reaction and response.
Well, that's what we expect from Pakistan. They should take some steps, some credible steps, to convey to India that they are willing to fight terror, both within and without.
Am I right in reading into your words and into your tone a somewhat more accommodating attitude? You still want them to do things, but you're more accommodating and understanding today.
Well, it all depends upon Pakistan's attitude. You know.
If they respond well, you'll be accommodating.
If they respond well, we have said repeatedly, I repeat whatever the Prime Minister has said and whatever we have said earlier.
I understand. If Pakistan responds well, India will be accommodating. But if Pakistan is obstinate, then India can't be accommodating.
I think you have summed it up very well.
So accommodation is the keynote here in the relationship with Pakistan. Let's take a break at that point. I want to come back, Foreign Minister, and talk to you about the second critical relationship you have to manage with the United States of America. That's in a moment's time. See you after the break. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate and an exclusive interview with the new Foreign Minister, S M Krishna. Foreign Minister, let's come to America. After 8 years of an excellent relationship under George Bush, many people believe that under President Obama, the relationship could be problematical. To what extent do you share that concern?
I do not share that perception that under President Obama, the relationship between United States and India is going to be any different than that was when President Bush was.
You expect it to continue with the same trajectory?
I believe, and I am looking forward, that the same relationship will continue, and perhaps we might improve our relationship further as we go along the road.
Let me tell you why people are concerned that this relationship could become problematical. To begin with, it's said that the new US government has an overwhelming preoccupation with Pakistan, as a result of which India is largely seen through the lens of disturbing events in Pakistan. Has Obama's vision rehyphenated India and Pakistan?
Well, I have, from whatever I have read about President Obama, whatever I have heard about President Obama, he is a great Democrat. Democrat not in the sense that he belongs to the Democratic Party, but he believes in democracy. And he would be dealing with the biggest democracy in the world, that is India. So India and United States have so much in common in terms of our values that we attach, and then the democratic values, I mean. So I think that we should be working very closely with United States.
So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that even if at the moment he has an overwhelming preoccupation with Pakistan, that won't stand in the way, or it won't hinder a good, close relationship with India?
Well, United States relationship with other countries is certainly something which they would have to evaluate themselves. But as far as we are concerned, whether it is President Obama or the Secretary of State, Mrs. Hillary Clinton, I believe that they understand India's position, globally speaking, and India's strength in the neighborhood, and India's relevance in keeping peace and tranquility in this region, a stable region. You know.
Let me point out the second concern, and it links in a sense directly with your belief that both Obama and Clinton understand India's strength and India's role in the region. The former American ambassador Robert Blackwell recently in a major speech to CII said that India does not figure in an important way in US calculations regarding Afghanistan. And you know that America is slowly but surely looking for good or moderate Taliban to incorporate into the Afghan government, something that Pakistan endorses, but you in India have strong reservations about that.
I do not know how to distinguish between a good Taliban and a bad Taliban. I think Talibanism is certainly evil personified.
All Taliban
All
are bad.
Talibans are evil personified.
Precisely my point. So if President Obama believes that there is an element of the Taliban that can be won over and brought into government, then that would cause you great concern and disquiet.
Well, I think that is something which United States will have to work out with Pakistan, and we certainly will have no role in shaping that.
In fact, you'll keep your distance from it.
But we evaluate what Talibanism is all about, and we certainly will communicate to United States in our own way what we feel about it.
You will express your thinking to the United States. You will not leave them in any doubt.
We will communicate to them through normal diplomatic channels and others.
A third area of concern is that America has made it clear that they would like India to sign NPT, and if America itself ratifies CTBT, then you'll be under pressure to sign that as well. Do you think President Obama understands India's special nuclear status in the same way as George Bush understood it?
Well, we presume that President Obama understands India's special status, and without reason, President Bush would not have given us that kind of a status. So I am sure that the administration, the new administration in the United States, will understand the compulsions of India not to sign.
You used a very interesting phrase. You said, we presume he understands India's special nuclear status. There's a certain element of doubt in that presumption, isn't there?
Well, we will have to wait and see.
In the meantime, have you sought an assurance from Washington that the $2.8 billion military aid they're about to give Islamabad won't end up being used against India? You know it's happened in the past. Obama himself, when he was a candidate, has said it has happened. So what's the guarantee it won't happen again?
Well, the very fact that President Obama himself has said something to that account when he was campaigning for the presidency of the United States, we proceed on the basis that he understands the implications. That any aid given to any other country, and more particularly to Pakistan, it should not be directed against India, number one, and it should not be misappropriated for anything other than for which the aid has been earmarked.
Let me end by saying there are many areas where you have presumptions about the Obama administration. Clearly then the meeting you're going to have in July with Hillary Clinton is essential, because this will clear everything, remove the doubts, and establish a proper, firm relationship. That's a critical meeting for you.
Well, it is going to be a very important meeting, and I am looking forward to it. And in the meanwhile, you know, there will be occasions when in the international gatherings, there are possibilities that the Prime Minister and President Obama would be talking to each other whenever an occasion arises. So we believe that we will be able to convey to United States our concerns, our anxieties, and I'm sure that they would understand.
Foreign Minister, a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.